Welcome to the Catholic Life Coach Podcast. My name is Carla Fitz. I am a certified life coach, wife, and mom of two beautiful little girls. My hope for this podcast is to offer support and empower other Catholic women to live their most authentic life, to share life coaching tools from a Catholic perspective in order to help you live a more fulfilling life filled with peace, joy, and abundance. Let's get started. Hello, friends. I am so excited to be here with you guys. It is a chilly day here in Nebraska. I am loving the rain and not loving the wind. The wind is so scary. It's been super, super windy here. But I'm super excited to share this episode with all of you. This has been coming up in a lot of conversations for me with some friends, some colleagues, and also family. Like, it just keeps coming up. And I figured that I would do an episode talking about this because humility is something that I have struggled with for a very long time. And not only that, but it's something that I am super passionate about now as an adult and as a life coach, because I've had such a transformation from what I used to believe to what I currently believe. For what I've learned from priests, from friends, and life coaches. Because I think for a very long time, I believed that the Google definition of humility, which I will read to you, I used to think that that's how it was. In fact, I think when I used it against me, and I think a lot of us use humility against ourselves. In the sense of like, I gotta be humble. I can't believe in myself because if I do that, I'm no longer humble. And I just want to share with you guys the definition of humility in Google. It says dictionary definitions accentuates humility as low self-regard and a sense of unworthiness. In other words, is viewing ourselves as not worthy. Which sounds pretty, as in like we are unworthy of God's love, and yet He gives it to us. We are unworthy of His kindness and His mercy because we are sinners, but God made us worthy. And so I think hearing that definition really shook me the other day because we were having this conversation. I'm like, that is the definition? Thinking less of ourselves? And when I was growing up, this was not a thing in my life. In fact, I remember growing up, I grew up in Venezuela, for those of you who do not know. And I grew up there until I was 16 years old. That's when I ended up moving to the US. And for me, I viewed my family and those around me as very humble people. But that was not my definition. I did not think that they thought they were not good enough. I did not believe that we were unworthy. I did not grow up with this mistake in our heads. What I saw humility as when I was a child was never looking down to others. Never thinking that I was just too good to be around someone else. I viewed humility as being friendly and becoming friends with those who are different than us. Welcoming them into our lives. I viewed humility as remembering that there was always someone who was better than me, and there will always be someone who is less good at something than me. I remember always my dad reminding me, like, you are an amazing singer, but there will always be a singer who's better than you. And there will always be a singer who is not as talented as you. And you have something to learn from both. Humility to me meant going to really fancy hotels and being also able and willing and excited to spend the night on the floor on a tent or a night outside at a family member who only had hammocks for us. That was humility. Humility meant being wealthy and loving everyone around us. It meant not believing that just because I was good at something meant that I was better than them. It meant being welcoming and loving and friendly with those around me, loving other people. And I remember with my parents, it was always just ingrained in us that we needed to be willing and open to serving those around us. And I was very, very blessed in my childhood. Not always, because when I was a baby, my parents really struggled with income, and they lived in very, very poor areas of Venezuela. And then it was after my dad put together his business and grew his business, and mom was a teacher, that they did become wealthy. We traveled a lot. And I'm so blessed for that. But the thing that I'm most blessed with is that my parents trained us to be very simple people, to want to grow, to want to create amazing things in the world, but loving each person around us. That we were never too fancy to enjoy a simple camping trip. That was humility for me. My parents did not raise me to believe that I wasn't talented, that I didn't have gifts, that I wasn't good at something. They always encouraged us to believe in ourselves. And now, as a mom, it makes so much sense that they would. I've seen parents trying to protect their children from being too cocky by making them feel like they are not good at anything. That is not humility. And what's incredible to me is the other day I was listening to Father Mike talk about this, and he was explaining how humility is not thinking less of ourselves. It's thinking about ourselves less. And I think that is one of the misunderstandings and the mistakes that we make in believing less of ourselves. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not talented enough. Oh, I'm not pretty enough to do that. Who is that helping? Who is that serving? It doesn't serve you as a human being to believe less about yourself, to believe that you are not worthy. It does not uplift you, and it does not uplift anyone around you. And when you are being called to serve, which we all are, it's harmful for us to not believe that we are worthy. It's harmful for us to believe that we are not good. And I'm not saying like go out and be like, oh my gosh, I am amazing. I am the best thing in the world. That's not what I mean. What I mean is create this sense of safety around your own confidence. Create a sense of, okay, it's okay for me to step in my own shoes and go after my dreams, and to step in my own identity that God has given me, and believe that I'm capable. If someone else is capable of doing something amazing, why can't I? And I think that's a powerful question to ask ourselves. Anytime that we go into this mindset of, oh, I don't believe I'm capable, or I'm not good at all, or I'm not good enough, or that person's better than me, if it helps you, okay. But 99% of the time, thinking in this way, it's not helpful. Thinking in this way, it's not promoting any good in the world. It's just causing you to pretend that you're this small, insignificant person. And you are not. God gave you a mission that only you can create. I heard this story that, God in that scene, I have the Chosen in my head, but in that scene or in that moment when he's with the apostles, with them on the boat, they just came back from trying to fish and they did not catch anything. And God says, throw your nets again. He could have just said, fish, get in the boat. Jump, get in the boat. Right? He could have done that. I mean, when he's in the water and the whole world is like in chaos, there's a lot of rain, a lot of just ginormous storm. What does he do? Hey, earth, stop, settle, be quiet. He quiets the storm. He could have just said to the fish, jump in. Let's do this miracle thing. But he doesn't. He uses the disciples. The mistake is to believe that if we have confidence in our own capability, that we are going to want to do things without him. And we simply cannot. We have a unity, a relationship with God. But we need to take action. And if we are in this mindset of not being worthy, not being good enough, not being talented enough, not being brave enough, we miss out on the miracles. We miss out in participating in these miracles. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to miss out. I do not want to miss those opportunities by being focused on myself. The crazy thing is the definition of humility, the way it's said in Google, that is the way, like being humble means thinking less of ourselves. It goes against what Father Mike was saying. And what it creates when we think of ourselves less, we spend more time thinking about ourselves. We're doing the opposite. We spend more time being focused on, oh my gosh, what are other people going to think? They're going to think that if I believe in myself, I'm just this cocky little person. And I don't think that's true at all. In my experience, the people who are cocky and full of themselves and who think they're better than everyone else, that comes from a sense of insecurity. When you have confidence in yourself and you believe that you have talent that God gave you, when you believe that you were created for a mission, you show up for the people that need you in a much better way. You're not focused on, oh my goodness, look how talented I am. You are focused on who can I serve today? Who can I help today? I have this talent that God has given me. Who can I serve with this talent? That is the purpose. But if we believe that we are too little, not worthy to create anything in the world with God, we miss out on the opportunities. And instead of creating humility from a place of, I'm here to serve you, we create a sense of selfishness and not wanting to go out and serve our people because we are so worried about what are other people going to think of me. Or I need to be small and not create a racket and not create a difference and just not say anything. That's not helping anybody. It does not help anyone when you are trying to stay humble in the Google's definition. If you are trying to stay humble by Father Mike's definition, I don't even know if it's Father Mike's definition, but the way Father Mike explained it, if you are trying to be humble in the sense that you do not think less of yourself, you know you're capable, but you think about yourself less, and you go out and serve the world, serve your children, showing them that you're talented, showing them that you are capable, showing them that it's okay to have confidence in themselves, to love themselves, to accept themselves, and to serve other people. If we create this space from within us in which we are confident and comfortable in our own body and in our own personality, we show up for the people that need that personality and that character and that experience. We create this sense of safetiness in being ourselves. I do not think it's helpful whatsoever to practice humility in being less than, focusing on the lack. When we step on believing that we are capable and that we were created for something greater and bigger than us, we open up to abundance. We are no longer in lack. And there's one more thing that I want to touch on, and it is that God created us in His image and likeness. Every time I hear people diminishing their potential, diminishing their talent, and please know that I've been there. This is something that I still battle with. I have thoughts in my head that are like, I'm not talented enough or have important thoughts enough to be creating a podcast. And yet here we are. God is leading me in every single episode. Do I believe that I'm doing it all on my own? No. But there is something that I believe firmly, and it is that we were created in God's image and likeness. And if we were created in God's image and likeness, think about it. We're not just diminishing our own talent and capability. We are diminishing God's creation. That pains me. We are His creation. He loves us. He thinks that we are amazing. So who or why would we spend time in believing other than that? It is not serving us, friends. It does not serve us to follow a definition of humility that creates this lack in God's plan. Because not only are we doubting ourselves, we are doubting God's capability and what He can do in our lives. Let's not put a limit on what He can do. We are His creation, and He is calling us loud and clear to participate in the miracles. It is our job to fight for the mission that He called us to. If that is our motherhood, then we need to fight to be examples for our children. I, for one, do not want my girls growing up with the idea that they are not worthy of love, of happiness, of joy, of mercy. I don't want to place limits in my girls. I don't want that for anybody. I see women and men doing amazing things in the world. I have no idea what my calling is. Exactly. I have an idea, but I'm not totally sure, and I'm open for change. And I hope you are too. I hope you are open to accepting the fact that there are talents inside of you that God is waiting for you to use. I don't know about you guys, but I do not want to get to the end of my life when I am 85, 95, 100 years old and regret not going after the things that matter to me just because I didn't think I was good enough. I do not want to get at the end of my life and see Jesus and then say, I didn't do anything with the talents you gave me because I didn't think those were good enough. That doesn't sound pleasant to me. I think it's time to redefine the word humility as a way of being in which we love other people, a way of being in which we are willing and open to serving them all with all of the talents that God has given us. Define humility as being confident in our own skin and knowing that we are not better than those around us. That we are human, that we are not perfect, but that we are thankful and proud to be ourselves, to be proud of being a daughter of God, not proud of our mistakes, not proud of the things that do not serve us. But for me, I'm proud to be Venezuelan. I'm proud to be Catholic. I am proud to be a mom and to be a wife. And I'm so thankful that God has given everything that He has given me. I think the less we worry about what other people have and we start focusing our attention on what we have to offer, the more we are living our life to the fullest. Please spend time this week getting clear on the talents that God has given you, on the gifts that He has given you, on the resources that He has given you. How can you serve? When we are spending too much time focusing on the lack of our lives, we cannot see past the lack. But there is so much abundance in our life. So please spend some time this week redefining the word humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking about yourself less. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend and rest of your week. And I hope to see you next week. I know, I'll see you next week, God willing. All right, until next time, God bless. If you are ready to dive deeper into life coaching from a Catholic perspective, then make sure you schedule a free consultation. The link will be in the description. This is an opportunity for you to work with someone who will empower you and support you in all of your endeavors. This is a journey, and being together and working with someone who believes in you is life-changing. So if you're interested in growing and creating faith-driven success, make sure to reserve a time to chat with me. Until next time, God bless.